My name is Andrew Albertson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Project on Middle East Democracy, or POMED. And it is my distinct pleasure today to be sharing with you, one is to share with you this outstanding report, I think, that my colleague Stephen McInerney put together. And it takes a very careful look at both the hard budget numbers and some of the key questions that remain in terms of U.S. aid for democracy, governance, and human rights in the Middle East. But secondly, I'm very excited to be for this discussion about the funding levels and about the broader issues together with two distinguished speakers and dear friends of ours at POMED, Marina Ottaway and Tom Melia. And I want to come back in a moment, but let me start by mentioning first our partner in this effort in putting together this report and a series of events we're going to be hosting, without whom none of this would be possible, and that's Heinrich Böll Foundation. This is our second year that we've partnered with the Heinrich Böll Foundation to put out this report, and I have to say I think it's one of the most popular reports that we put out each year. The goal we had in doing this was very simple. We want to make the process more transparent, to improve people's awareness of and access to this very important information about how our government is spending money in support of democracy and governance programs in the broader Middle East, and what kinds of programs the money is funding. For the uninitiated, I think some of the numbers and their comparison between the democracy and governance numbers and what we're spending on security and military is quite surprising. And they carry valuable lessons. And I think, as so many others have noted, budgets are substantive signals of policy priorities. They're not everything, and as we will no doubt discuss in some depth today, democracy aid is relatively ineffective when either programs are poorly designed or they're not complemented and supported by diplomacy and other tools. But budgets are important. And in particular, I think this budget is important because it gives us some of the first concrete indicators of how and to what degree this administration, in its first year in Congress, intend to follow up on the President's landmark address in Cairo. This year we're also excited because with the help of Heinrich Böll, we're going to be translating this report so it's available not just in English but also in Arabic, and disseminating it so it's widely read not just here in Washington but in the region. And this is an important step. If we're to achieve the President's vision of a cooperative effort based on shared principles and aimed at achieving shared justice and prosperity, then it is crucially important that we solicit and pay attention to feedback from this strategic region of the world. And we think that starts by enhancing the capacity of writers and advocates, business leaders, and other professionals to access information about U.S. policy debates. Perhaps no more important than in this crucial area, so close to the core of Americans' ideals about our role in the world, of our support for democracy, governance, and human rights in the broader Middle East. Now, before we dig into the numbers and what they mean, let me begin by introducing our speakers. Stephen McInerney is my colleague at the Project on Middle East Democracy. He directs our advocacy program. He is the author of this report. McInerney has extensive experience in the Middle East and North Africa, and did graduate studies in Middle Eastern politics, history, and the Arabic language at the American University of Beirut and at the American University in Cairo. He's spoken on Middle East affairs in a number of different media outlets, including MSNBC and CBS News. His writing has appeared in the Arab Reform Bulletin, the Daily Star, the New Republic, Foreign Policy, and the Washington Post. We're also excited to have here to discuss this report Marina Ottaway, who is a senior associate in the Democracy and Rule of Law Project at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Marina's research is focused on Middle East political transformation and security issues. And actually, I think that just scratches the surface. Marina is one of the first authors that I read on many topics. In fact, we were just discussing before we started this event a new project, a new research topic that we're undertaking, and hers was the first writings we went through on that as well. We're very happy to have her here to comment on the report. And finally, Tom Melia, who is the Deputy Executive Director of Freedom House, and he's been there since 2005. Previously, he was Director of Research at the Institute for the Study of Diplomacy and an adjunct professor, still an adjunct professor in the School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University. Prior to that, he directed the Middle East Regional Office at the National Democratic Institute for International Affairs, where he held senior posts for more than 12 years. He has published several dozen articles on American history and international politics, has been interviewed by CNN International, BBC, Voice of America, and recently co-edited Freedom House's new annual report, Today's American, How Free? So without further ado, let me pass it over to Steve.